I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Take my hat off.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Morris?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Done.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood as we try to get this lighting all correct. Okay, so over the weekend, a lot of information has come forward. Just to do a recap, one thing is when it comes to the shooting down in Brooklyn, where 28 people were shot, 2 people were killed. One thing that has become glaringly obvious is that the police did a cleanup of an active crime scene. They allowed a cleanup. They allowed sanitation to come in and sweep up the evidence. A former Baltimore police officer brought to my attention a statement made by this mayor that the people of Baltimore should trust safe streets like we trust the police. And when I first heard the mayor say that, I thought to myself, but people don't trust the police. So is that to mean don't trust safe streets? He said, trust safe streets like we trust the police. Black people don't trust the police at all. Consent decree or not. What else? Had the annual Ruth Kirk Festival this weekend. 2 days of music and fun. Got a chance to see Squeaky Kirk, delegate, the former delegate, or the late former delegate, Ruth Kirk's son. Saw her husband. Always a wonderful event. Glad to have been there. If you read today's Baltimore Sun, there's an article in there about Henrietta Lacks and the lawsuit that Ben Crump led in terms of suing the pharmaceutical company that's made a lot of money unjustly off of her HeLa cells, the immortal cells of Henrietta Lacks. The article at least recaps a lot of the pieces of the story, including the movie that Oprah did on Henrietta Lacks, based off of the interesting book written on Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skooth, I think her name is. I know the family did not appreciate Rebecca. They did not like how she twisted the story. Nonetheless, Oprah made it into a movie, and all of that to say is, people, do your homework. Don't believe everything that people write, and there's nothing worse than culture vultures. Yeah, I said it. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get to today's guest. He's been working with young people in media. This man used to harass me. he used to harass me to bring these young people on WOLB 1010 AM. Come to find out, we share a mutual friend who now has his wings, Stuart Thomas. So we want to dedicate this show to Stuart Thomas and the sister who had a Romeo and Juliet type love affair. But without further ado, Mr. Calvin Watkins. Yeah, I said you harassed me.
Yeah, I harassed you. Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
Fantastic. How are you? Thanks for the opportunity.
I should also have mentioned that you produced some television shows for me.
Yes, sir. It was exciting, man. You actually were a catalyst in helping me. It's ironic, you know, as much as videos I do, you actually motivated me to do television. And now
That's what we do. We help each other.
Yes, sir. We do. We do. Absolutely.
That's the North Avenue way.
I ain't from up north, but I feel you.
Oh, you spent time on North Avenue.
I spent plenty of time, man. Let me tell you, man. I talk about those times now, man. It's like, wow, bro. It was fun, man. Absolutely.
I would say it was all fun. It was deadly,
Well,
especially
well,
North and P.
My times coming through was fun. I was too young to realize anything else.
Stay there long enough, you'll see it. I remember one day in the 2100 block of North Avenue, my classmate's stepfather hit the number. He was inside P&M. He hit the number. You can see him celebrating. Next thing you know, pop, pop. Somebody popped him, took his lottery tickets,
Wow.
walked down the street, and then he shot the police and the police shot him. 3 people down in like 40 seconds.
Must be the money. Oh, it's something you can't take with you. That's crazy.
Can't take it with you.
Man, I had one. I had that similar. I think the most memorable experience I had on North Avenue. I was at North and Payson, and I saw Stuart. He's like, what you doing around here, man? I was like, man, we just, we driving. Man, I stood in that corner. I sat on the corner of Payson and North Avenue. Stuart walked over to my car and he's talking to me. A car went down, hitting eastbound North Avenue. And another car was crossing. So this car hitting eastbound hit this car crossing. It hit, those 2 cars hit, spun around my car. And Stuart there looking at it. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to save my cousin. Spin around, hit the car behind me. So it hit a car in front of me, spun around, hit a car behind me. And we sitting there like, wow, didn't touch us at all.
That's the Holy Spirit.
That was the Holy Spirit. Well, he showed up that day, man. And I left. I took my tail back up. Bowman County. It's like, say my part of town right now, Stuart. I'll holler at you another time.
I remember on Edmondson and Fulton.
Okay.
I'm going south.
Okay.
Walking. I get to the corner, you're looking both ways, about to cross the street, and a cab pulls right up in front of me. And I'm from Baltimore. I'm saying to myself,
right.
Why would you do that?
Right.
Within seconds, there was an accident just on the other side of that car.
Wow.
Same scenario.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah, nothing but. Anyway, how'd you get into television, Calvin?
Oh, man, it goes back a little ways. I gave you the short version. I wanted to be in television since I was in the 4th grade. I remember being at Grove Park Elementary and teachers asking you what you want to be when you grow up. And I thought about being a television guy, just shooting video. So fast forward, I forgot about all that. I was going to school for engineering and I was DJing. And then I was at an event with my turntables, my speakers, and I met this in records, like crates of records. And a family friend came in with a briefcase, popped it open, took out a video camera, did his business in 4 hours, packed his briefcase up and went home. I'm packing up records, turntables. It's like, yo, I got to switch this up. So a couple weeks later, I went and bought me a video camera from back then, Circuit City, and started shooting video. It wasn't until I was at Mount Pleasant Church. My dear friend, mentor, Toni Robinson Salter, she's a super producer. She did a lot of work with Tyrone Table on Career Communications. And this dude, John Kavanaugh, she introduced me to John Kavanaugh. John Kavanaugh did a lot of work with even a magazine, Discovery Channel, History Channel. He traveled the world on this stuff.
Wow. What you talking about, the 80s?
This is the 90s. So Tony was around since the 80s. I was doing wedding videos, and I thought that was the hot thing, man. I thought like, yo, I'm the dude because I'm making this money. I'm shooting wedding video. I just knew I had made it until Tony and John came along, and I did a video for NAACP. My friend Adrienne Watson Carver was put in charge of a department by Kwesi and Fume, and she called me up to do a video. And I knew it was way more than what I could do professionally, way beyond my expertise. So I called in Tony. We were going to church together. Tony called in John, and I'll never forget the most humbling experience I had ever. We were downtown on Howard Street, and John was framing up the shot. John Kavanaugh was framing up the shot, and he said, go across the street and get the trash from over there. I'm looking like, yo, I hired you, man. And John's a white guy. So I'm like, yo, this pilgrim, who you think he's talking to? He don't know who I am. I'm paying him. Big piece of humble pie. Tony looked at me and like, what you gonna do? I walked across the street, got the trash out, reluctantly, I'm snatching it and kicking it all out the scene. And I stepped back and I watched this dude work his magic. Man, I was in awe ever since. That day, I went back and bought every piece of television production equipment that I could get. I mean, black wrap, gaff tape. I brought a Leatherman. I brought lights. I was just this flags, all the stuff I could get because John was now the guy that I had to emulate, and I never had a mentor in television before. So that's how I got into it. And
would you recommend that a person get a mentor?
Yes, absolutely. I even there's even a guy from Jay-Z, WJZ TV, Fred Thomas, rest his soul. He passed away last year. Fred, I was in the midst of, I had an office, so I'm doing my studio space, and I'm doing this thing. And I was really excited. I'm like, okay, but I was in a relationship, and the relationship was getting serious. And I said, okay, I might, be looking to get married, and so I applied for a job at WJZ. Guy Fred Thomas said, okay, listen, won't you come? Actually, I took him a videotape and showed it to him. He said, okay, let me see where you did this at. He came to my office, man. This guy's in charge of hiring at Jay-Z. He came to my office, sat down with me. I looked at my equipment. It was nothing compared to what they had at Jay-Z. If I'm showing him my stuff, he said, look, man, I know you want to get this job. He said, but if you take this job, you're going to shoot for me when I want you to shoot, the way I want to shoot, where I want you to shoot. You're going to lose all the freedom you have for shooting. So you're better off toughing through this storm right now because it was a slow season. First time I experienced a slow season because I was doing it full time. He said, sit through this, budget for it and understand these things come all the time and you'll thank me one day. Doni, this brother saved my life because, and I say that, I have friends that work at the stations now. I'm friends with a lot of people on air. And but for me, it wasn't my calling. And Fred Thomas saved my life. I used to tell the story and cry because when I realized it one day, I called him because CBS was doing a story on me. And I called him. It's like, yeah, man, y'all might need to roll a crew. He said, man, I knew you could do it. Just, man, that was like a life-changing experience, man. So I was like, wow, man. I just saw those type of things happen. And mentors come in your life to show you the way. So you get opportunities. Those mentors come in your life to show you how to get from point A to point B and ultimately to help you achieve your success.
I believe you should find the best mentors. You should find the best in your industry, the best, the absolute best.
I agree.
If it means going overseas to find them.
I agree.
Because you can't learn from a rock.
Well, there are lessons in the rock.
I want the best.
Right. Well, it's this thing I have hanging on the wall right here. This guy wrote. He says, every successful man I've known has done the best he can with the conditions as he found them and not waited till next year for better. So while you're in pursuit of the best, you need to be under a mentor who's teaching you how to get to the best, because you're not going to just wake up on a Monday morning and say, I need a mentor. And it might take you a week or 10 years to find the best or get access to the best, because you know yourself. I mean, the higher up you go, the harder it is to get to people. You can't just call up Denzel and be like, hey, I need a mentor. There's steps to that process.
Why not?
Because there's steps to that process. You are one in a million other people trying to get to Denzel. And I'm not saying you can't get to Denzel, but it's a process. So
where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. But again, do the best you can with what you have.
But sometimes we give ourselves outs, we give ourselves excuses
No doubt.
without even trying.
Right.
You know?
That's why I say you do the best you can.
Included.
Right. But you do the best you can with what you have. You
Absolutely.
Still move until you get to that Denzel, until you get to that Steven Spielberg.
I guess what I'm saying is he's not as difficult to find as one might think.
I agree.
Do you recall Lushy Lush?
No, I wasn't shooting those type of videos.
Well, that's her name. She's actually a Nigerian American veteran, U.S. veteran. Adedeo Edu. Okay. That's her Nigerian name, but we call her Lush. And she, like you, would take her camera and her microphone and just go out there. And she would shoot anywhere, anyone. And one day she was at an event. She interviewed Denzel. And lo and behold, I've run the clip a few times on Be More Niche. Denzel took the mic from her and started interviewing her.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I've actually seen him be very open to people.
Right.
Warren Buffett, I've been to the White House, 50 times. You're liable to see anyone over there.
I agree.
Yeah. So tell me about this desire to help teach youth media.
Well, it started with my two children. So I had an opportunity to work in television. in the film industry. And I was on the set of a film that what's his name? Harrison Ford was actually starring in. It was called Random Hearts in DC. A friend of mine got me on the set, and I was excited because I wanted to shoot Steadicam at the time. But
you have to tell the people what that is.
Okay. So Steadicam is a camera device that allows you to run, walk, go up and down steps without the camera actually shaking. So a lot of shots you see on television when people are running, the camera operator has what's called a Steadicam or a stabilizer. Steadicam was the king of the industry for a while. Now they have other devices that help you steady the camera so that you can run, walk up and down steps, and keep the camera steady on a person without shaking all over the place and going all over the place. So
that's what they call cinema verite, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So anyway, I started back then doing so I had children, and I was like, okay, I had opportunities to shoot movies and all this other stuff. I turned it down to spend time with my children because my life with my children, my sons, was way more important than my career. I was like, how can I always do that? So fast forward, my children grew up seeing me do video, and they started coming to my office, bringing in friends, say, yeah, Dad, we're doing a video. We're doing a Nerf War video today. We're doing a ghost zombie video tomorrow. And they just always bringing friends to my office. So one day it came to me, I was like, you know what? We can make this a summer camp. They were like, yeah, sure. A couple of parents were like, oh, man, yeah, you should make this a summer camp. So that's kind of like how we got started. Just teaching kids how to produce videos.
Did you charge?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Because come on now, that's North Avenue way of life.
Yeah, so we absolutely. So at the time, it was $100 a week per child. The kids would come in, we teach them how to make the YouTube channel. So my oldest son, Calvin, had started a YouTube channel back when he was 11. So that was also added to us doing this camp. And my youngest son, Cameron, at the time, he was 9. And he used the iPad to create a trailer. And he showed me this video clip he put together, made a 30, 45-second video. I was like, dude, we have everything we need to do this. So say, okay, instead of your friends are coming to the office, we're gonna take the office. We're gonna put all the gear, all the office equipment, like in one room, and you leave the bigger space for the camp. So that's what happened. We had this big room, put signs and posters out. Kids came out, signed up for the Young Filmmakers Camp.
So I rarely do this, but let me just ask, you want to do some name dropping?
No.
Who have you worked with? Who have you worked with?
Well, what you mean, like in the industry?
Yeah, you've mentioned Tony Robinson. You mentioned the man who told you to pick up the trash.
John Kavanaugh. I work with the great Donnie Glover. Absolutely.
That'll get you points.
That got me some experience too, so I appreciate that. But I actually turned down some gigs, man. I had the opportunity to work with Stan Latham. And I told Stan, said, yeah, man, I did a bus trip to Def Comedy Jam back in '94, I think it was.
Who is Stan Latham?
Stan Latham is the producer. He started with, I don't know, I can't say where he started. He used to produce Sanford & Son. He did Def Comedy Jam. He did he did a lot with Dave Chappelle. And he's a television, film producer. A lot of other credits to his name. And Stan actually I remember going to Def Comedy Jam, and on a Saturday morning, we had like 5 buses we took. So after the show, because we got these tickets here, I remember Bob Sumner was my contact, and let's get on stage. I talked to Russell Simmons and Stan Latham. Russell was the guy, but I was more interested in Stan, because Stan did his television experience. I had no idea he was Sanaa Latham's father. I would have kind of sold out to be that. I've been his son-in-law, you know. But in all seriousness, Stan said,
I'm sorry, I missed that.
We're gonna let that go then. So Stan said, Stan Latham was like, hey, Calvin. I was like, yeah, I'm Calvin. I produce video. I love to work with you. He gave me his card and said, yeah, man, call me Monday. I was like, all right, great. Went home, came back Sunday, and said, yeah, I met you yesterday. He said, yeah, Calvin, I remember you. Call me. I was like, all right, great. So I had an opportunity to think about what I wanted in my life. At the time, I was dating my former wife, and I really loved and cared for her, but I knew I wanted children. And I just wasn't, I didn't have a mentor at the time. A mentor would have said, Calvin, follow that lead and build your career. I didn't have that. What I had was 2 loving parents who had a strong family, and my father, who was an amazing father. I said, I want to be like my dad and be a great dad. So I turned down Stan Latham. It's like, man, you know, that would have been something, you know, in hindsight, everybody's like, wow, you turned down Stan Latham? I was like, yes, man, because, you know, I needed to make sure I had these children in place. Same thing happened when I was on a set with Harrison Ford. You know, these guys was like, okay, how can we help you get in this business? I said, I'll give back to you, because my heart was, I heard this pastor tell me one time, when you see a man's heart, that's where his treasure is. So for me, my heart was my children. I said, okay, you know what? I can always shoot movies and films. Let me go back and just be a good dad to my children. I'll get back to the film business later. So that's kind of like how, you know, but in terms of people I've met, Stan, Russell Simmons. I met a lot of people locally. I met people just in my travels. I had a television show I was doing about cars. I met the guy. I remember doing some video with a rapper, Cuban guy. He sings named after a cat, something. I can't remember his name. But
Bruno Mars.
Pitbull.
Did
some work with Pitbull. So yeah, but I'm not big on name dropping. But yeah, we met a few people in my travel. A lot of people actually in my travels.
Eminem has a song. Matter of fact, Bud Crawford came out on it. It's called Lose Yourself. He said, you better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This is an opportunity. Comes once in a lifetime. Yo!
Yeah, so I love that song. There were times I was doing business and I would play that song as my theme music, you know, my hype music, get ready. I don't believe opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
What do you mean?
Well, I had several opportunities to do whatever I want. It's this line that says, those who don't have opportunities, go out and make them. So I've been a making opportunity kind of guy like all my life. You know, I have people say, man, you know, you got to doing this, man, because this might not come around again. It's like, dude, I piss out ideas all the time. I create opportunities all the time. So for me to say, okay, I can't do that. My challenge, the problem I had when I was younger, I would do everything. I remember creating touchscreens before doing software for touchscreens before the iPad was created. We had systems down at the convention center and the Baltimore Visitor Center where you would go in. It was an opportunity I created for myself. So not only did I create opportunity to produce the videos to advertise businesses downtown Baltimore, I created an opportunity that would get me we had these software, these screens in place. So visitors coming to Baltimore will walk up to the screen, touch it, find directions on where to go to eat, where to go to party. I remember doing a video for the Hustler Club, dude. I was like, yo, I'm the man, you know. But just having these opportunities and, you know, just creating opportunities for yourself. Again, that's a nice song. I use it so many times for meetings to get, you know, pumped up for them. But you got to create your own opportunities. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's giving you anything.
So what's this thing? What's this logo on your shirt? I mean,
okay.
It doesn't say media, and you didn't wear it just by happenstance.
So yes and no. So I created I had the opportunity to so video, the media business has changed. I'm a little older. I don't want to carry the cameras and bags around like I used to. Back in the day, it was nothing for me to, you know, bring a fly pack out, fly the cameras, the lights, and all this stuff. So I said, okay, I have to streamline what I do. So I decided to I'll start selling videos to realtors. Like, okay, let me tell these realtors I do the photography, I can do the drone, I do videos for their listings. But realtors are cheap. They don't invest money.
Sound like Democratic candidates.
Say it again.
Sounds like Democratic candidates.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's ironic that
people that want top notch, they want top shelf, but want to pay real money.
Don't want, and but you know, I didn't know that until I started doing a television show. I said, okay, I did this television show. I have a friend that's a realtor. I said she can get all the real estate business, and the people I'm interviewing, they can get all the mortgage business or home improvement business. And I just sell videos and pictures to realtors. Again, they're the bunch of cheapest, don't invest in themselves type of people I've ever met. So I said, you know what? So I was doing
it. There's something else.
Yes.
Over the past 23 years, since 2000, increasingly software has come on the market that allows the entrepreneur to do it for themselves.
Yes. So that also came into my mind. It's like, okay,
technology changed the game.
Technology is taking everything to another level continuously. And I forget the name of the law, some type of law, some type of rule that
planned obsolescence.
What is it?
Planned obsolescence.
Yes. So, and that's what happens. You know, what we're doing today is obsolete 3 months,
tomorrow.
6 months tomorrow. So anyway, that's kind of like what I got. So I started doing real estate because I was doing this television show, and I looked at, okay, the realtor's gonna make this money. I'm trying to make money from realtors who don't want to pay me, but this realtor I have hosting this TV show, it's going to be Queen Realtor. She's going to call this business. So I decided to stop the show that day, get my real estate license, and start selling real estate. I could do my own videos, my own photography, and sell a house. Instead of me getting $150 for pictures, I can get the $10,000 commission from the house.
How's that working for you?
Fantastic. I love it. It is totally perfect for where I am in my career. I get to travel to do videos about real estate and sell houses and make the commission. And my videos went from me charging $150 to do a video to whatever the commission is on that particular house for doing the video.
Any thoughts on pricing oneself out the game? I know a producer, and I shared with him once, we can go get this gig. How much are you going to charge the client? And the cat said $1,400. And I said, you will get the $1,400, but he will never come to you again. I recommended to him, charge him $400, $500 maybe.
Right.
But if you go and you try to get it all at one time, sometimes that's all you will ever get. And my point is, you price yourself out the game, and that guy never called him again, nor me. Now I'm working on it because I just have faith in the process.
Right.
But I warn my partner, don't overcharge him, because I believe repeat business is everything. Business is a good thing. Repeat business is everything. Your thoughts?
Well, Donnie, I learned that lesson years ago. Some people just can't afford me, and I'm okay with that. I have clients that, it's funny, without going into too many details, I'll tell you this. it's better to walk away from someone who can't afford you, because if he came in at $400, he'd be working to deliver a $1,400 job. There's a time I wouldn't do videos for less than $5,000. Like, you want me to do your video, it's gonna cost you $5,000 out the
This
gate.
is in a time where the technology is changing.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. I agree, but I don't know
No, I
if you
agree.
can. Let me give this to you.
Yes.
The current BeMoreNews.com. I was paying a designer, local, black, East Coast, literally thousands. I go on the Fiverr and get it done for
Right.
overnight
I agree.
for a little bit of cheddar.
I agree.
The
So,
game is ever changing,
Donnie,
and you can charge $1,400 if you want. But I
yes,
can find me a cat in Pakistan
yes,
that'll get that joint done efficiently, top notch, latest technology for pennies on a dollar. Now,
right. I agree. No, I agree. So that's why when you asked about this my logo, that's why I had to change my business up, because people aren't paying $5,000 to $10,000.
no.
Exactly. So they say innovate or die. So
How
what
about
I
this? Change, adapt. The last one to adapt is the first one to die.
right, I agree. So what happens is, for me to make the revenue I needed to make, I had to change up, because people aren't paying $5,000 to $10,000 or more. I have a
You
client.
don't have to.
I guess that's relative. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because you can get it done for less. But I'm gonna tell you, just there are some folks who still pay top dollar for video, although they can get it on Fiverr. I had a client that come to me to say, okay, yeah, they could have got it on Fiverr for less, but they wouldn't have got what I gave them. So they were willing to pay me more than what they would have got it for on Fiverr.
One thing I had to learn early on in the 21 years of Be More News is that I think I lost my train of thought, but it had to do with technology, and every time new technology comes out, you have to be aware of it, you have to learn it, and you have to learn how that impacts the game.
I agree.
Because sometimes we want to charge top dollar for yesterday's technology,
right,
when the game has changed. Just like the NFL, each year the NFL gets faster and faster and faster, and if you're going to be in that game, you got to know what the latest is,
right,
how to use it effectively.
Adapt or die, like you just said. You have to adapt. And I think so often, that's one of the things I'm concerned about now for our communities, because this AI, like Chat GPT and Bard,
you're thinking what I'm thinking.
I think, so I had a conversation with an administrator at a school recently, and I asked this administrator, I was like, how are you? Because this administrator has students who are good at STEM, and they are, ranked highly in the country as a school who are, who's like leading STEM. So I asked her, I was like, oh, so what do you think about AI and your children in STEM in your school? And they responded and said, well, we're going to hire someone to look into that. So I don't know everything, but I know that by the time you go through the process to hire someone and they get up to speed,
it's going to be something else.
They out of date. And it's scary, because our kids are always late to the party, literally and figuratively. And that's the scary part, because
technology kind of evens that game. But I will say that now the competition is global.
Yes.
So your son and his YouTube channel is facing off, competing against
a billion other ones.
Young Kim in China.
Right.
Where the competition is even stiffer.
Right.
Do our black boys have a chance, Calvin?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Do our black boys have a chance?
Absolutely, they have a chance. I think one of the things that we have to do as a community is stop getting distracted. I had a friend recently tell me if this job became online, and he doesn't know how long the job was online. He just saw the job was online. It was, you work 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they were paying like $35,000 a year. So he was excited. He's like, man, I could do that in my sleep. I was like, yeah, you could. He said So he called the next day. He said, "Man, they found out I was black." It's like, who found out you were black? The people for the job. They didn't hire me because I was black. I'm like, maybe you weren't qualified. No, they found out I was black. They said, "Oh, someone else got the job." One of the biggest distractions we have is making excuses that people don't want to work with us because we're black. Some people are just buttholes that you don't want to work with anyway. But in this particular case, the job was on like Indeed, and thousands of people are seeing it. They hired someone. They only had 4 positions. They hired someone more qualified. There could have been someone half your age. It could have been someone that had more experience in this field. They did not hire you.
Are you saying that black men have to get away from making excuses?
Black people, and particularly black men, I think our communities are in the shape that they're in right now is because black men dropped the ball. We left the gate. We should have guarded the gate and been holding ourselves and others accountable. But instead, we fell victim to the distractions.
Like what?
Women wanting to see us looking cool, the big cars, the fancy this, the fancy that. Meanwhile, our communities were falling apart.
You mean men fell off by not
putting first things first? Now, taking care of your family is our first things first. But I don't think you should take care of your family at the detriment of your community. It was a song Biggie Smalls made. He said, one of his songs, he said, "This is for all the people who used to call the police on me because I was out in front of the building selling drugs to take care of my daughter."
First of all, don't sell that crap in front of my door because I am going to call the police on you.
Thank you.
In fact, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come and tell you, you got to go.
You got to go. So why does everybody in the building have to pay a price for you to take care of your daughter? And
not only that, you're selling poison, son.
Selling poison. Those type of things that happen in our community.
Remember New Jack City?
Absolutely. Rockabye, baby, all that kind of crazy. It's just, but that was given. I would say that was.
Remember Nino Brown?
Yeah, I remember Nino Brown. And
old man shot him in the stairwell.
Because he had enough.
Because our values are about silver and gold.
Right. And I tell you, man, I say it all the time. The only code we have is don't snitch.
That ain't no damn code. Because let me tell you something. I done seen the toughest of Tonys singing on that stool.
Oh, no doubt. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
the one you see right there. You know, bravado.
Right.
Snitching on everything that moves.
Everything that moves. But my point is, that's the one thing that our community agrees on across the board.
No, we don't.
Well, name another one. Name one thing we agree on.
We don't agree on that. We say don't snitch, but people snitch all the time.
I agree. You know, you're right. So I stand corrected. You're right. We don't agree on it.
It's a misnomer.
It is. Absolutely. I appreciate that. See,
I'm not doing 25 years because you killed somebody.
You killed somebody, right. I got things to do.
I didn't do it. You did it.
You did it. Right.
I might put something in your commissary.
Right.
And hope you won't ask me that.
Do they still call them fugs? Cigarettes. Used to be called fugs back in the day.
What do they call them, fugs?
I don't know what they call them, man. But
that's a Baltimore term. Down south, they call them squares.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's my thing, man. I think if we can stop that, the AI. If we just really look at how to make AI work to our advantage, it's a lot.
It seems like it's made us dumber, though. I mean, we don't want to do the research. We don't want to do term papers. Cal, when I wrote the second book, right, I put a ton of sources in here for people to find the information on their own.
Right.
Because a lot of times we don't want to do the research. We don't want to look in the books. It's like we're allergic to books, man.
Let me ask you a question. Considering that we can talk to our computers now, we can talk to our computers, but we can't talk to each other. Come on. That's true. But do you think books are old technology? No. Okay. Because there's a spirit with it. I agree. Holding a book is this the latest book I've been reading by more than I imagine. I like that. A guy that went to Lamel. Okay. He was on the show last week. John Blake. I was in class with his brother Patrick. And just opening up the book,
you can do something with a book
Yeah.
that you can't do on a computer screen. And let me tell you something. I do not watch movies. I do not watch television on this. This is a damn phone.
Right.
If I'm that damn bored, I got to watch a movie on this.
Well,
I don't know, but our young people,
yeah,
they do everything on a cell phone. I can't watch them. I need a big screen. Matter of fact, I want a big movie screen.
Yeah, but that's the whole evolution of technology, and things change.
I'm not watching no damn movie on this little thing.
Right.
And let me tell you, this is a public service announcement. Ladies, this is 2023. Stop taking the damn selfies in the bathroom.
Man.
You are 56 years old and you're still taking a damn selfie in the bathroom. You look like a nice person. Then you see the bathroom stall. That's just nasty. Damn, wash your hands.
Your girl said, "For status ain't hood."
Come on, man.
I agree, man. It says a lot when they take these selfies in the bathroom.
What? I don't even want to touch your phone.
Yeah, I agree.
Ew.
I agree. But yeah, man, so much is changing. You really got to, either, again, you adapt or die. Innovate or die.
Calvin, what's the state of the Black community in Baltimore? And what are you doing to make it better?
I don't know if I'm qualified to speak on that. What I will say is that our culture is bent to the point where it might break. We have a lot of stuff that we accept is okay, and we shouldn't.
Are we going to talk about the critical situation you're dealing with up in Northwest or not?
Can you enlighten me? Oh, yeah. I apologize. Yes, we can. Absolutely.
Okay, so when I ask about what's going on with the city of Baltimore and what are you doing to change that?
Okay. So, like the situation in my community, the community here, we have a school
building.
Don't get
so morbid. My God, it's not a funeral.
No, I have to frame it, Donnie. I have to frame it because a lot of it involves real estate and prices of real estate and the devaluation of real estate. But as a licensed realtor, I can't really talk about that because that's considered steering. It's illegal, yada, yada, yada. Somebody make a phone call, say Calvin's doing yada, yada, they got proof. So I got to really make sure I frame it. So I can't talk about that aspect of it. So now it's a community, Grove Park community. I went to Grove Park Elementary School. We had generations of people that went to Grove Park Elementary School. And they put out an RFP. Baltimore City put out an RFP to sell the building. Now, the community wrote a letter saying what they wanted to happen with the building, but Baltimore City is ignoring it. They said they know what's best. So they got these cats from out of town. These cats coming from Ohio that have long money. They hired themselves a minority contractor. We all know the minority contractor. And they're coming up to say they want to buy this building and knock it down and do something that we don't want. We've been adamant about we don't want them in our community. We've been adamant. We even created some video to say why we don't want them. We got testimonials. But Baltimore City Department of Housing is still pushing this housing community development, still pushing this company to come in and put a rehab center in our community. Now that was a rehab center. That would commercialize the community. And we don't want that. So we went to them and said, okay, so I started an organization to create a school. We wanted to have a school in the building because it's a school building. We can go in there with some money, fix it up. We have people say they would donate money and time to fix this building up because it needs some aesthetics, but nothing structural. The roof is new, the building is strong, but they want to have their friends come in and knock this building down and make this rehab center in the middle of community. If they knock down this Grove Park school, it changes everything about Grove Park Grove Park community. So now they told us that it's up to the mayor. So we've been petitioning the mayor. We've been trying to get a meeting with the mayor to sit down and hammer this out and have him veto this thing for them selling our school.
So this is just south of Pikesville?
This is just south of Pikesville, absolutely. Just Grove Park, at the edge of the city, Ricestown, then Pikesville. Not Ricestown, when I say Ricestown community, not Ricestown, Maryland, but just.
So politically, who's the strongest group in that area? The Jews.
Okay. So there's some things I can't say professionally, but yeah, I will say I agree with you. The strongest group in that community is
Politically.
Yes, politically, yes. Yes. And I believe that
this is the same community that the Shamrim beat up the little boy going to Northwestern High School, broke his arm, back when Greg Bernstein was in office.
I would say that they did have a team of people who patrolled their community that did that.
Private security force.
Private security force. And that's why I say brothers fell off we should have dealt with them. You hurt one of us, I'm sorry, let me go back. Let me just say, yes, that's what happened back then.
So what's it looking like? Who's going to get Grove Park? You wanted it? Your community
right. So we wrote a proposal to get to school. They said that we didn't tell them, we didn't put in nothing about money that we had raised. We put in a business plan, a really strong business plan to tell them how we will pay for the building and we will care for the building in perpetuity. But the organization that came against us put up $30 million, or they showed they had $30 million, and they were giving away jobs, and the city decided to side with them to award us.
That sounds like Port Covington all over again, where at the end of the day, it does not empower Black people in a 63% Black city.
That's right. That's the problem. One of the things we do in Baltimore, and actually our communities do across the country, is we vote for people we like and not for people we can control. And an example of that, a recent example of that was this election that was going on when they were looking to put what's the football guy name? Herschel Walker in office. And our folks were like, oh, they teased Herschel Walker when he can't read, all the stuff that they knocked Herschel Walker. But the people that were backing Herschel Walker were putting him in office because they could control him.
He had the IQ of a dyslexic snail on a bag of fentanyl laced with Ritalin.
So that makes it easier to control him. The people that we wanted to have in office were people that we liked. And in politics, don't take my word, Dr. Claude Anderson says the politicians we can't buy, we need to rent them or lease them. We don't have that power in our community. That's one of the things we need to understand. We need to control our politicians, because what's going on in Baltimore City, what's going on in Grove Park, we don't control the politicians. The people so since we can't control the politicians, we don't buy those politicians, the people who won the building are renting and leasing them. They gave the governor, everybody's happy guy, glad to get this brother in office, they gave him $65,000. They gave the local council person over $7,500. So Grove Park can't afford to buy, rent, or lease a politician, but the ones who are winning the bill, who got the bid, the ones who are getting the building, they can afford to buy, rent, and lease their politicians.
Well, let me tell you another angle. Okay. We can organize and we can vote.
Yes, I agree. I think another problem.
And money doesn't vote. People vote.
Right. We are out organized. I think that's one of the things we have to get with our community. We have to organize. We are out organized.
Well, at the beginning of this show, there's a clip that comes on where Dr. Zollicoffer speaks to Black people, and he notes that we don't like poor Black people.
Okay.
When the truth of the matter, and I've heard people say this for a long time, Black people are not monolithic. Black people are not homogenous. In the bottom of that slave ship, we all were.
Yeah, I agree. Let the Klan come into town.
But like y'all came on a speedboat and these other people came in the bottom of a slave ship. In that slave ship we were.
Right. Let some alien force come here and say,
that's America. That's America,
Right.
Well, I was on the Santa Maria, you were on the Pinto.
You was on the good ship Jesus. Right.
You was a slave.
Right.
If in fact slavery was in your lineage, because as we well know, not all Blacks came by way of slavery.
I agree.
There were Blacks already here,
right,
before the European ever arrived.
Nobody, you don't hear a lot of conversations.
But I know it, and it's in my book.
Yeah.
Truth be told, Blacks been on this continent longer than anybody. Just look up Luzia, Luzia in Brazil. Her bones are at least 14,000 years old, and there are no older bones in these Americas.
I saw some video a little while ago about Egyptian artifacts being found in the Grand Canyon.
Damn, skip it. Kincaid's Cave.
Okay.
The Smithsonian knows all about it, but they will never, ever tell you black people. But when you go to Las Vegas, for all you people that like to go to Vegas, there's a hotel out there called the Luxor.
Yes.
It's shaped like a pyramid.
Pyramid.
You have to ask yourself, why do they have an Egyptian-themed hotel in the middle of the damn desert? That's because the Egyptians were there thousands of years ago.
Donnie, that's a whole nother. I won't get too far off the beaten path, but if you look at, I ask people all the time about the Washington Monument and what it means. They just know it's a Washington Monument. They don't know that represents the first virgin birth in the history of recorded religion. It's an obelisk, comes out of Egypt.
It's an obelisk, comes straight out of Africa.
Out of Africa, right. And it represents fertility. And it was in the story of the first virgin birth.
It's a phallic symbol.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's how we roll. But they missed that. And you know what?
On the back of a dollar bill.
Yes.
It's a pyramid.
Right. The DC is built on the
Masonic.
Yes, in the Nile Valley. Yes. It's so much of us that we don't realize because they controlled how we are educated. That's why I want to start a school.
They have control, but the truth is, the more we dig and do our own research, we realize that what we've been taught has been taught to us by idiots.
Yes.
Who have only copied what our ancestors wrote originally.
Come on now.
So when I get a Bible scholar that's so hooked on King James Version, I have to ask them, if the word says study to show yourself approved unto God, have you studied Aramaic?
Bruh, I had a brother.
If you haven't studied Hebrew, Aramaic, then all you're giving me is a translation of a translation done by an idiot.
Exactly. I had a conversation with someone this weekend. It's like, man, you got to go back and see where this started from.
You only speak English, then you're lost.
You're lost.
Because you're getting purely this
one side
version.
Right. One side of the story. Exactly. I'm telling you,
so much about Christianity just makes me raise questions.
Yeah, a lot of it, all of it.
You look at a father and a son, you ain't got no mother and a daughter.
Right. That's
in traditional African custom, the woman.
Fertility. Look at the ankh and look at the cross.
One is persecution, the ankh is life.
It's life, fertility, yeah. So,
and we got to go to Egypt. I know more and more black people are vacationing.
Have to
going to Egypt.
And
but if you go to Egypt, I want you to look up Ashra Kwesi on YouTube.
Yeah.
Ashra, Ashra Kwesi, because they are those of us who have studied the hieroglyphs, the pyramids, such that they can explain it to us more than
these other people.
The guys out of England that went there and stole King Tut's mask.
Stole King Tut's mask, man. I was in LA
they went and dug up our ancestors.
Yeah, and stole the gold.
Oh, they damn sure took the gold.
Absolutely. It's crazy because if you look at all those artifacts from our ancestors, diamonds weren't a thing. You don't see them fronting with all these white diamonds. You see rubies, but from what I understand, the De Beers family made diamonds a thing.
On the backs of black people.
Yeah. So, blood diamonds, everything. We've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, and led astray. And we're still fighting fights that we're still distracted.
Okay, Cal, so we got 5 minutes. What do you want to say to the world?
I don't know, Don. I had nothing canned to come on. I just wanted to spend time with you, bro, and let you know I appreciate you. And I think you're a great human being, man.
What do you think about Black Wall Street events?
I love it. It's a lot that happens. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it focused. That it's a great opportunity for us to come out and appreciate each other. I see people I haven't seen in a while. You see people who you make new connections. It's an honor to receive a Black Wall Street Award. And the fact that you don't just do it here, you do it in New York, DC, you do it down south. That's an amazing opportunity for us to come together. So I applaud you on that. That is a really big deal. I love
are they good networking opportunities?
Absolutely. That's what I was saying. You meet people you haven't met before. You see people you haven't seen in a while. It's an excellent place to network. So you guys go to the website, Be More News. Listen to what Doni tell you. Come out to a Black Wall Street. Have some food. Shake some hands. Exchange your cards. Get a number. Exchange your number. It's a great opportunity.
So you know we have an event this Thursday up at Collins. Will you be there?
I do know that now. I will be there.
Come on, Calvin. You the hired photographer. Stop playing, man.
I'm writing it down. Absolutely. So you guys make sure y'all at Collins. 6 o'clock, right?
Stop playing, Calvin.
What time?
Yeah, 6 o'clock, man.
Well, I mean, maybe you should say. I'm saying 6 o'clock. Maybe you should say. Tell us about.
It's right here on the ticker. See it?
Okay, got it. Yes.
We turned 21 years old. Any thoughts on being in business? How long you been in business?
Since I quit UPS in 1992, 91. 36 years, probably 35. I don't know. It's been a minute.
Why'd you quit UPS?
Because a lot of reasons. I don't want them to give myself some, them coming after me. But they told me I was overqualified for a position, and I didn't have my college degree. I wanted to work in the engineering department. I had 4 dudes from the four dudes from the engineering department who went to school for finance tell me, the guy who was doing training, programming their computers, and had worked all over the building, tell me that I was overqualified. So I said, dude, I don't even have my college degree yet. I said, what do I do? They said, we don't know, but you're too much for UPS. And they were right. They were right. I was too much for UPS. So a few months later, I'll never forget, I made a phone call to my mother. I said, if I don't get out of here, they're going to send me to jail. My mother, just like any good mother would say, come home, baby. Come home. And that's been my story, man. I love her for that.
What about your dad?
Oh, my father was the guy that worked to work every day. I love my father so much. I wanted to have a son and name my son Calvin III to honor my father. My father was like that dude up until the day he passed. Him and my mom were married till the day my father passed, which was like 22 years ago.
Where was the one place in Baltimore he told you not to go?
In Cherry Hill.
I thought
I'm sorry. No, because we went down the waterfront all the time. He never really had no place he told me not to go. I mean, I thought he told you leave North Avenue out your vocabulary. No, that was my brother. I had an older brother that told me that. My older brother said, he told me don't go down North Avenue because he said, my brother said, if you come down North Avenue again, he called my mother and said, my nickname is Stuffy. He said, tell Stuffy, if he come down North Avenue again to hang with Steven and Stuart, I'm going to beat him like he stole something. And I believed him. And my brother was street. My brother was hood. My brother and Stuart were like this. So my brother told me that. I listened to him. I didn't go down there again. He said the police, because at the time I had a job working for UPS. I had a flashy red 5.0 Mustang from hard work. And I had this car and I started my business doing video. So I was making legitimate money. There was some other cats that weren't. And the police would profile you to say, you shouldn't be driving this kind of car in this type of neighborhood. My brother said, don't come down here.
You would be confused with a drug dealer.
Absolutely.
Especially back in those days.
Yeah, because they were driving, what do they call it, Cresslers and all this other stuff. My brother told me that. I had vanity plates.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, man. I had the vanity plates and everything. My brother said, the car was hot. My brother said, you come down here again, I'm going to beat you like you a stranger. I loved and respected him. He said it out of love and respect. I stayed away from that.
Calvin Watkins, Chosen Media. Any final thoughts?
No, bro, thank you for this opportunity. Appreciate it. Be on the lookout. I'm working with a team now. We're creating the Youth Mental Health Expo coming to Baltimore. We will help our kids get access to mental health resources because mental health is directly correlated to youth violence. We're going to give them an opportunity to get past that and just give them some resources to help them get better. Follow us at Youth Mental Health Expo on IG, on Facebook. The website will be up shortly. And just want to thank you guys for this opportunity.
Good deal. Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Oh, we got one comment from Gwen. We didn't miss it. It's systematically, purposely left the truth out. Now doing it again with illuminating Black history. Doni again, continue to tell the truth. and highlight brothers like Captain. That's from Sister Gwen Levi.
Thank you, Sister Gwen Levi.
She's a new part of the family.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Good morning, world.